Simmons is officially considering retirement and is going out worse than any of us would have imagined. Once compared to a young LeBron James, the report is that Ben can still save his career. That after this much failure, Ben has still received interest from the New York Knicks and one other team. However, Ben is questioning whether or not he even wants to continue his NBA career. Are we surprised? No, but what's crazy is what Ben Simmons did might be worse than what any of us realizes. He never developed a jump shot despite years of fooling us with summer shooting mixtapes. He played in just 166 regular season games after signing a 5-year, $170 million contract, and now, for the second time in his career, his agent has officially cut ties with him. So we need to ask the one question no one is asking here. Did Ben actually care this little? Did he actually just give up after signing a max extension, or did injuries and other factors such as mental health actually come into play? And if Ben did really just give up, why did the NBA allow this robbery to happen in the first place? And have they done anything since to stop a Ben Simmons situation from happening again? But to answer those questions, first, we have to understand how much of a crime Ben Simmons' contract really was. To put things into perspective, we first have to introduce Ben Simmons as the generational type talent he was seen to be. When he was a young player in high school and then LSU, Ben drew comparisons to both Magic Johnson and LeBron James because he was an ultra-athletic, tall point guard who could push the ball in transition with the best of them and had eyes in the back of his head. Which is why watching Ben's early high school mixtapes is so strange, because at this point in his life, he was not afraid to attack the rim. He looked like an athletic menace. In his 1 year at college at LSU, Ben averaged 19.2 points, 11.8 rebounds, 4.8 assists, and 2 steals a game as he was named first team All-American. A foot injury would cause Ben to miss an entire year, what should have been his rookie season. But by 2018, we soon found out why Ben Simmons has biggest waste of talent all-time potential, and how he committed a contract robbery. Because in his 2018 rookie season, Ben was everything you could ask for from a #1 pick. Throughout all of NBA history, only 13 players have averaged at least 15 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists per game in a single season. The youngest to achieve this was Luka Doncic. The second youngest was rookie Ben Simmons, who not only put up these historical stats, but also helped lead the Sixers from 28 wins in 2017 to 52 in 2018. At this point in time, Philly looked like they had their team of the future. Joel Embiid was just 23, Simmons was 21, Markelle Fultz was on the roster and it's still not fully busted. It looked like the Sixers had a young star trio that was next to unstoppable. But already, problems would begin to emerge. First, Fultz lost his jump shot and was never the prospect anyone thought he would be. Then, we had the problems that came in the form of Ben Simmons' jump shot. But before we continue, I would like to thank DraftKings Sportsbook for sponsoring today's video. As we know, it is football season, which means wildly exciting plays are happening all of the time, and you can bet on them. Because do you love the thrill of live betting? Well, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered. And new customers, I have some great news for you. If you sign up using my promo code Korzemba, all you have to do is bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly, and $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. You are also able to stay in on the action and use those bonus bets on DraftKings same game parlays. Same game parlays give you a shot at an even bigger payout. And if sports betting is still not available in your state, don't worry. You can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy and have a shot to win cash prizes. So again, new customers bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly, and $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Sign up using the URL that is in the description or using my promo code Korzemba. Thank you again to DraftKings Sportsbook for sponsoring today's video, and now let's get back into that video. But by year 2, a familiar pattern had started to pop up for Ben. A pattern of Ben Simmons promises his fans that he will improve and become better, except he does nothing of the sort. In the summer headed into his second season, after he shot 0 for 11 from the three-point line in his rookie year, Ben was asked non-stop about his jumper, and he made one thing very obvious. His jump shot was his biggest focus. As we can see on this article from CBS Sports titled, "Ben Simmons says improving jump shot has been main focus of his offseason training. In this article, Ben made a great point about free throw shooting. "You've got to start slowly," said Simmons, who shot 56% from the foul line and scored 80.4% of his shots in the paint. If it's adding a free throw that gets up to 80%, that's about 5 more points right there. If you add little things and keep adding over time, that's how you become great. Consistent, hard work on his jumper. That was how Ben was going to become great. Sounds great to me. And to be fair to Ben, the free throw shooting improvement was there in year 2. He did improve from 56% to 60% shooting from the foul line, which is why I don't think Ben Simmons was always going to quit on his team. However, there were specific circumstances that led to Ben having a mental breakdown. But are these circumstances fair? To answer that, we're going to jump forward in time a little bit and then rewind back. Because if you don't know, or maybe you've forgotten the full details, Ben Simmons' career was essentially ruined in one single game, arguably in one single moment. That moment was this.
They cleared out for him, tapping his way in, spins on Gallinari, gives it up, oh, he was right there, and a foul as Thibault goes to the basket. Boy, Simmons, uncontested, had a layup, but he leaves it for Thibault.
What we just watched was in the 2021 playoffs. The 76ers had entered the playoffs as the 1 seed in the East with 3 more wins than the eventual NBA champion Milwaukee Bucks. With a starting lineup of Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Danny Green, Tobias Harris, and Joel Embiid. Tyrese Maxey had not yet emerged as the player he has become. It looked like a 76ers team led by Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid was destined to match up in the Eastern Conference Finals with the Bucks. Only, as you just saw, down by 2 points with less than 4 minutes left in round 2. Ben had a wide open dunk when Trae Young scared him into passing the ball. The Sixers would lose this game by 7 points as 22-year-old Trae Young took them down. And really, while this pass by Ben Simmons was a one-time mistake, it also was a symbol of years of frustration building up. It was very obvious that Ben had gotten into his own head and that also we had a dangerous combination in play. We have to remember that to end the 2021 regular season, while Ben still had not developed a 3-point jump shot, he was also seen as one of the top 15 to 20 players in the NBA. In year 2, he was an all-star. In year 3, he was 3rd team All-NBA. And then in 2021, he not only was an all-star for the 3rd straight season, he also received more MVP votes than LeBron James and finished 2nd in that year's Defensive Player of the Year race behind Rudy Gobert. Big things were understandably expected of Ben, and the fans were increasingly yelling at him to finally work on his jump shot, to finally unlock his final form. But the problem was, Philly trusted in Ben. They signed him to a max extension with the thought that he was going to continue to work on his game. However, the problem was, once this extension kicked in, technically, the Sixers were powerless. They couldn't do anything if Ben Simmons decided he just didn't want to play basketball anymore. It would seem impossible to any of us that a player would rather just sit on the bench and get paid as everyone hates them, rather than compete like, I don't know, it's your job. But that is the decision Ben Simmons made after the 2021 playoffs. Now, how did he come to this decision? Well, it turns out Ben was completely full of it when he talked about practicing his jump shot. Between season 1 and 2, yes, Ben Simmons' free throw percentage went up, but by year 4, Ben was still just making 61.3% of his shots from the free throw line. That year, he took just 10 threes and made just 3 of them. At this point, defenders were playing 15 feet off of him, but it was really Ben's poor free throw shooting that became his Achilles heel. This is where it was proven Ben Simmons was simply not mentally tough enough to handle the extreme pressure that comes with the NBA. In the 2021 playoffs, Ben Simmons' lack of mental toughness was exposed. In round 1, Ben shot just 35.7% from the free throw line against the Wizards, and then against the Hawks, he shot just 33.3%, which meant Ben wanted to avoid driving to the basket at all costs because he did not want to go to the free throw line and miss shots. That is why he passed the ball against Trae Young. He didn't want to be fouled. And get this, for the playoffs, Ben drove to the basket just 5 times a game. For comparison, in the 2019 playoffs, Ben averaged 10.4 drives a game. That is before he was scared of shooting free throws. And also, just so you get an idea here, in those same playoffs, Ja Morant averaged 24.2 drives to the basket. Luka averaged 22.4. Trae Young averaged 20.4. Even Tobias Harris averaged 10.3. And overall, This series led to disaster. Now, at this point in time, back injuries have certainly taken a toll on Ben Simmons and his health. I am not discounting that. However, we have to question how seriously Ben has been taking his own recovery, while he seemingly has never practiced the sport of basketball while also being an off-court diva. Philly bet their future on Ben Simmons. They bet their trust the process on Ben Simmons. But once the fans turned on Ben completely shut them down. After the Game 7 loss to the Hawks in 2021, head coach Doc Rivers was asked,
Ben Simmons can still be a point guard for a championship team like the one you guys want to become?
Yeah, David, I don't know that question or the answer to that right now.
Joel Embiid said immediately after, I'll be honest, I thought the turning point was just we had an open shot and we made one free throw. The head coach and the franchise player turning against Ben did not help, but then all of Philly rooting against Ben caused him to shut down, where it was obvious he didn't really have a plan. But what he did have is a $170 million contract extension. And so when Ben demanded out of Philly because he could not take the criticism, we had a major problem. Keep in mind, in early September, Embiid denied a rift with Simmons and said he loves playing with his teammates. After Ben demanded out, Doc Rivers publicly said he hoped they could change Ben's mind. They were willing to work with Ben. They wanted to mend fences. They could not. Ben refused to report to training camp or any preseason game with the Sixers. Then, after joining the team, was suspended a game by Philadelphia for conduct detrimental to the team. It was around that time that Ben told Philly he was not mentally ready to play, and due to his mental health, he would be sitting out.
Like I said, I'm not good at babysit. At this point, I don't care about that man, honestly.
So what we had here was a player taking a franchise hostage. Under good faith, Ben Simmons signed a max contract, did not perform well, was still welcomed by his teammates, would have become a fan favorite if he had just practiced a three-point shot, but instead, he played the mental health card, sat out the entire 2022 season, and eventually was traded to the Nets for James Harden. Ben had gotten paid, and that's what seemingly mattered, as due to a combination of the mental health card and his back, Ben has never played a meaningful basketball game again. And now it appears that he's about to retire because no one wants to deal with his drama, or at the very least, they want to pay him the minimum amount of money to do so, which Ben doesn't want. He still feels like he deserves to get paid. And that is the worst thing we've seen out of this whole Ben Simmons situation. Because while the Pelicans have been able to threaten Zion Williamson with a weight clause that could void Zion's contract if he's too heavy, when it comes to Ben, Philly did try hold out on paying him, but due to the mental health excuse and the Players Association, Ben and the Sixers did end up settling on a payout for the money Philly fined Ben for not playing in the 2022 season. And the NBA also recently ruled that Ben's 2022 season counts towards his years of service in the NBA, which benefits Ben. It means he could ask for higher contracts if those were in play, and it means he's 1 year closer to the 10 years of service in the NBA that would give him the max benefits for retirement. Hopefully, just the shame of being paid $40 million and then not showing up to do your job is enough to keep future generations away from pulling this kind of nonsense. And there we have it. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did like the content, I really think you'll like this video on Zion Williamson and why he's potentially ruining his life. If you're already subscribed, thank you so much for supporting. You are awesome. We all know it. And as always, have an awesome day and cue that music.